Welcome back to part 2 of our October the 22nd auction walk around, where I'm going to endeavour to show you some of our lot. If you haven't seen part 1, please do. And also please accept my apologies, we haven't quite got the auction lots ready in their normal beautiful situation today because I'm nipping off on holiday with Fuzz. Fuzz and I are off on a romantic break together in Malta to look at some classic cars, so we're doing this a week early. So that's good for you, bad for the lads and lasses here who have to put the cars in the right place. So we will start with this. A beautiful 1969 Fiat 500L, starts on the button, ready to go. Every car collector I know has a Fiat 500 in their collection because they're a brilliant piece of design, they're pretty much money in the bank, and they're actually really usable, surprisingly so. Left-hand drive car with 55,000 miles, imported from Italy in 2014, as you might expect. Body is very good because of that. Matching Prelude, it's a rollback sunroof model, it's just super cute. There's nothing not to love, it's not going to be expensive. 5 to 7 grand. If you watch the one that we did on Sandwich Hunters, that sold for 15. So to me that seems like an awful lot of car for the money and a huge amount of fun. And just dead usable. Look, really straight, really level little car, that one. Neo Classics. People keep talking about the Audi Tt as a classic car that's coming up, and it's the ascendancy of this car. It's very much undoubted at the moment. 2002 Audi Quattro Tt, the one you want. Quattro, the 225 bhp, so probably anything is going to be a future classic, it's this, particularly because it's an S-line model, and particularly because it has, if you look out, you can squeeze down here with your athletic physique. It's got the red leather. Oosh, it's manual, as you can also see. So if you were going to tuck one away, future classic status, because what do we know about the Quattro, the original one? They're worth £11 million now. So I don't think it's beyond the wit of man to think that maybe in 10 years or so, these will be a very good bet. This one we've estimated at 5 to 6 with 53,000 miles. Great spec, 2 sets of keys, full book pack. That's a honey. That's an absolute honey. And I think a lot of fun now. You can either use it as a very, very sensible, very practical classic today, or tuck it away with that mileage. I think that could be an investment car, that one. Now, there is another video by my colleague Elliot, who's behind the camera at the moment, about the fact we have not one but 3 Sportline cabs. Sportline cabs, Volkswagen Golf Mark 1, which of course sold all the way through into when the Mark 2 hardtop came out. They were still selling the Mark 1 as a cab. These are very late cars. Believe it or not, they sold these as 93s. This is a very, very late car. There's 63 left on the road. Sportline is super cool because you get the deeper arches. This one's been modified. The BBS alloys, the deeper front there, got the Recaros, they're just insanely cool. But what's cool about these is they don't fetch anything like the money that the Coupes do, the 3 doors do, or the 5 doors do even. So for some reason, even though they were more expensive when they were new, black tops don't fetch the same money as metal tops. This one has done 155,000 miles, 11 stamps in the book, MOT's back to 93, it's got Pioneer audio, but just doesn't it look cool? 8 to 10 grand we've estimated that at. I would like to own that very much. In fact, I'd like to own any of the Sportline cabs in the auction this month. Super cool. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in these. Red ones, black ones, whatever you like. We've got them all. Probably got more than any other auction house in the UK. And I think, a very cool car. I love the fact that one sits better than the standard car. Right, other classics in the making. 1988 Toyota MR2 T-Bar, sexy roof. 69,000 miles, it's a manual. It's got the 4AGE engine. If you're not familiar with these have basically the same engine that the twin cam Corolla has. One of the best sounding engines on God's green earth. Fabulous little car. They're just starting to make good money, these, but this one we've estimated at 5.5 to 6.5 grand, 69,000 miles. Not a common car. Most of them rotted away in period. This one's in very good nick. It's got the body kit. Surprisingly as well, you can, even as a 6'4" huge man, I can fit in one of these. So if you are a taller gentleman or lady, you're thinking, I'd like a Mark 1 MR2 but I don't fit in, come and have a sit in on one of our preview days. I think you probably will. This is rather cool. 1998 Land Rover Wolf 90 300 TBI Remus. Not the shortest badge ever to be put into a vehicle, but a very, very cool car. UK home market. Great, you know, if you're planning any kind of murder, you've got your shovel on the front there, axe handle and pickaxe there, so great for doing woodworking as well. It's obviously an MOD spec, you might have guessed that already. Unbelievable condition. I don't think this did an awful lot of work. This is the Drew Pritchard service Land Rovers. Hasn't done an awful lot, has it? Not really any miles. It's done 55,000 miles. It's had Unbelievable condition to the bulkhead, says my notes here. Very nice underneath. 300 TDI, so it's really usable. Power steering, direct release from the MOD. It's got wax the chassis, wax injection, front and rear discs. It's got a NATO hitch and lighting socket, and it's got its V55 as we call it now. 15 to 20 grand to, I think, get an incredibly cool. I mean, think of what all the tweed ones, you know, all the twisted, think what you spend on the twisted Land Rover. You could buy this for 20 grand. I think it's cool. Rare. Always have to have an XR3. We have a legal obligation here at Manor Park Classics. You may not know this. Part of our rent agreement means that in every sale, we have to have an XR3 on capital. That's the law. This one's particularly lovely. 69,000 miles manual. Subject to a restoration in 2020, including an engine refresh. You'll have noticed the RS Turbo 6 spokes, bonnet, bumper. So it's like having an RS Turbo cab. They never made one in period. If they did, it would have looked like this. And I'd imagine every Ford enthusiast, every Essex boy would have gone mad for that. Central lock-in, passed its last MOT with not a single advisory, which is always a good sign. And just a bit of summer fun. Not going to be an expensive car. 5.5 to 6.5 grand will buy you that car, I would have thought, on sale day. And you will look very cool. Great example again, imagine if that was metal hardtop, probably another 4 or 5 grand. Great example of how the cabriolets of all these cool 80s cars are the ones to get if you're looking for value for money. This, come on, 2.8 Capri, 1984, 32,000 miles showing you. From what we can see, the supporting evidence for that, both in the condition of the car, paperwork that comes with it, and just the seats. Look at the seats, Elliot. Look at the seats. There you go. So perfect seats, perfect reseats. It's only covered 651 miles between 2006 and 2013. Interior is exceptional, very tidy. It's a sunroof model, as you've noticed as you come out. And it's got that blue over silver, which is kind of none more 80s, is it really? Nothing screams the 80s. Like that two-tone generally, you know, with champagne or silver lower. Today's it's 14 to 16 grand, but again, I think for a 2.8 in this condition in the paintwork, giving the paintwork a 9.5. It really is very, very good. I have to say, that's probably a minor correction away from a 10. That paint is incredibly good. If you're buying that remotely, buy that one with confidence, because that needs bugging on, basically. Just one to get in and pose. This is one of my personal favourite entries. I'm getting into my Jag XJ period. Very, very cool car. You will have noticed Richard Hammond of Drive Tribe and Top Gear fame has bought his own XJ back because he's realised what a cool car it is. 1997 XJ Sport 4 litre. So this, of course, is the one you want. So P6000s, just had a new clutch kit fitted, new alternator, so £2,170 just spent. 20 stamps in the book on this beautiful car. 45,000 miles. Also in manual. So this is the driver's Jag. This is the one, they handle well, they go well. That 4 litre is a little bit of a peach, and it's a manual gearbox. So a bit of an unusual Jaguar confection in the fact that you stir the gears yourself, but I do think they will be, in not very distant future, a classic. Sport manuals, because they're so rare, nobody really ordered them. I think that's a car that will go up, and it just looks so cool. 2 sets of keys with that as well. Great car again, really needs nothing, just a lovely, lovely thing. Love the Golf Cab. Here we go. Another 93. These are all from the same collection, by the way. Somebody has impeccable taste and collected 3 of these. 93 Golf Gti Sportline Cab. This one's got 142,000. It's stunning. It's got these really, really cool wider ABS wheels on. Inside, again, you've got the Recaros. You've got the cool steering wheel. These are all going to go for about 8 or 10. This has had a roof, I would say, because this is just too nice. I'd be amazed if that was the original roof. But it's been beautifully done. It's got some 6x9s in the back, and if you're of a certain age, you will know these were the law. Just turn up at the cruise with the 6x9s on. It's just of its time, isn't it? What a cool thing. Obviously, the black and silver plates aren't technically legal. You might want to swap those before taking her down to the MOT, but I think the MOT tester wouldn't care because you look that good. Triumph Stag. 1973 Triumph Stag with the correct Triumph engine. Actually, a lot of these were converted to Rover V8. The engine is actually a bit of a poor reputation of the engine is for failing. That's because in period you weren't necessarily looked after, torqued to the correct figure, used with quality antifreeze. So there are a lot of engine failures early on, but if you get a good one and you look after it and use all the correct bits and pieces, they run beautifully. 95,000 miles, manual car, which is very cool as well. The engine was rebuilt in 2020, so going back to what I said, if you maintain that the way it should be done with a specialist, that engine should never give you trouble. Fresh MOT on it as well, just a really pretty car. These at the moment, I don't know what it is about Stag. They are going for really sensible amounts of money. This is 8 or 9 grand. The paint is good but not perfect. It's had paint. I think you could probably wet a flat that and make that really nice. What a lot of cars. I mean, they're like 30, 35 grand at one point. You could drive that, which is eminently presentable and a really pretty car. 8 or 9 grand. Smashing thing. This is super rare. This is a bit of the Mini car, the 1964 Humber Sceptre 1600 Mark 1. You never see it, do you? Super rare. A proper 60s classic. It's got the mini lights on. You can either take those or swap them for the original caps and trims, which I think would be even nicer. 96,000. Loads of new parts on this. The thing about these is it's very hard to find one with good bodywork, and this one has great bodywork. Really nice panels, good paint, wonderful interior. Can't really get the chrome anymore, so watch out for the chrome trim on these. And this has lovely chrome. 58-year-old car. It looks really, really good. You could just jump into this. It works at American shows because it's a baby yank. Works at British car shows. Looks cool. If you've got a bit of a rockabilly thing going on, it's going to work for that as well. Looks a bit gangster. It's just like a little yank that's been shrunk on a photo. I think it's fabulous. You could probably go to a car show and not see another one. 3.5 to 4.5 grand. Christmas has come early, my friends. Now, a car very, very close to my heart, this one. Saab 900 T16. It looks like a T16S, but I think, my friends, looking at the back, this is a T16 that's had an aero kit fitted. There's a couple of discrepancies on the back, like the rear bumper skirt is the wrong skirt for an S. So I think it's a bid on it as a T16 with an aero kit fitted. Some slightly suspect paint, but super level shell. Shell is really nice, roof is very good. Leather is pretty much immaculate. This car has only done 53,000 miles. So full disclosure on this one, it has been in storage for a long time. It will need a full recommission. But one keeper, 53,000 miles. It's been with the current owner since 1991, and bearing in mind it's an 89. Edwin Saab dealer plate, so it's a demo plus one. Dry stores for 15 years. So don't underestimate the fact you will need to spend money on this. You will need to recommission it. If you're being imperious, we'd certainly paint the bumpers again. You need to the correct grade. And you get a bumper skirt that goes on the back. But then you have a very, very nice car. So a bit of a project, but a little bit of a fixer-upper. My word, what a cool car. And have you noticed as well, 9,000 Carlton alloys on the side. And, look inside Elle. She's manual, of course. There you go. And it's got its tonneau. It's got its 3-piece tonneau in the back, which you know about old cabs. Very rare to find that. They always get lost, and they go for hundreds. So, has its tonneau in the back. This could be, I think, a bargain and a sale. If you want a beautiful, straight level, Eldorado grey, one of my favourite colours, buffalo leather as well, 118,000 mile manual car, 19 entries in the service book, local car with great history, just phenomenal. Little 900i convertible, it's just such good fun. Doesn't have a tonneau, but does have a very nice roof, has immaculate leather. I would like to own this, I'd like to drive this round. I think this is an awful lot of fun. Doesn't have quite the swagger of the 16S with its arches and wheels, but very nice car, a very nice colour. I think 900s do look good in Eldorado grey. 2.5 to 3.5 grand that will go for. Could it be the best car on the sale for the money? Could be. Another great car. We have got some really nice, what I call pocket money toys. So 2, 3, 4 grand cars in this sale. They're going to get your wallet twitching even before Christmas. And they were all trying to save money. We're only here once, guys. It's all about having fun. So treat yourself to an inexpensive classic car. 1991, Volvo 740 GL with documented history file. We're saying this is a time warp car, but I have to believe that's true. The seat condition, the body condition, it's got its original trims. They've been a little bit scuffed on the curb, a couple of them. But the body is so nice. If you treated this to a set of genuine Volvo wheel trims or some nice period alloys, you would have a lovely car here. 38,000 miles, auto, totally original. It's been with the previous owner for a long, long time, and it shows. Paint is lovely. You don't see these that often, do you, the 740? It's a very nice spec and a very nice colour once again. And it doesn't need much. There's a tiny dent in the bonnet. I'd whack 4 trims on it. I'd mint it out of its tree. And another classic you can use every single day. I've just had an interesting lease, so I bought a Jag Xk at the last sale. I've taken my lease car back, I'm bidding my lease car off, I'm saving 300 quid a month. I'm driving practical, inexpensive classics every day. It's costing me exactly the same amount of money, and I'm having a lot more fun. So there's a car you could do that with. Right, the Jaguar Xk8412a. Now Jim and I are having a very detailed chat about this. Don't you think this could be the next E-Type? These are the cars at the moment that are at the bottom of their price travel. Very curvaceous, very iconic, wonderful drive ease, good specialist networks look after them as well, good park backups look after them. So you can drive a car that to me has all the presence of a DB7 for a lot less money, that's really, really cost effective to look after. 104,000 miles on this one, it's got the split rims as well, the 20-inch Montreals, great colour combo, personalised plate, super history with it as well. It's not going to be a lot of money. Again, it's going to be 4.5 to 5.5 grand this car. Have a look inside. Because you look in here, look, and you look at what you're getting for that money. You've got, I think, a sort of DB7-esque ambience to this thing, but for just a fraction of the money. 4 or 5 grand would get you that. See, roof could do with it. It's been car washed in the past. I would get your detailing and balancer on that. I reckon 200-300 quid would get this car looking absolutely bonny. I mean, Montreal's, what a great wheel. Factory splits, very expensive option at the time, very desirable as a second-hand wheel now. Got some presence, that thing, hasn't it? Really has got the X factor. The thing that we all look for in a car that's indefinable, but makes the car sit right. And it's cheap. Another great model. This has just arrived. I can't tell you a huge amount about it. But it's a 1994 440 1.8 Li. There's no reserve on this. It's only done 25,000 miles. I think we all know what's happened here, don't we? Some lovely old boy or lady has bought this, looking at it, tiny little bit, just starting on the arches, super level car. We keep going on about Haggerty Festival and etc., don't we, about cars that work at that event, because it's very exciting. The classic car world is suddenly embracing and recognising cars like this, cars that would have been passed by for most normal car shows, have suddenly become cool. It's like an esoteric left field cool. If you just turn up at a car show or something like this, you get massive kudos and respect, and it's not going to be expensive. There's no reserve on this car. You might take that home for £2,000, £2.5 grand. I don't know. Come and make us a bid on the day. But you have a lot of fun. It'll probably go on till long after we've all gone. And it's very useful. What I think, don't buy these, don't spend 300 quid a month on a lease car. Buy something like this, use it every day, have some fun with it, and run it on a shoestring. That car will never lose what you pay for an auction day. It never will. It's such a good little thing. Isn't this an iPhone? American cars, I think, for me anyway, if you look at the canon of American car design, it peaked in 1957. 55, quite bland. 59, almost too big, and 60, all the fins got too big. 57, to me, for most of the manufacturers, Oldsmobile included, was peak design in terms of the amount of accoutrements you got, or the aero detailing they were doing. Big enough, but not too big. This is a gorgeous car, 57 Oldsmobile, Super 88 Coupe. It's got the wraparound rear window, which collects snow, is the one you want. This car's had a lot of money spent on it. It's got 56,000 miles showing. It's also, of course, and again, full disclosure guys, this car needs gearbox rebuild, basically, or we need an alternative gearbox. It has a 500 brake horsepower tuned engine, we are told by the vendor. It's had loads of money spent, including 2 grand's worth of exhaust underneath. And she's a 7.2 big block, so she makes a lot of power and a lot of noise. And drinks a lot of petrol. Don't buy this car if you're trying to save the planet. It's not going to do that. You are going to drive around looking exceptionally cool. Body condition on all 50s cars, obviously. She's going to need some work. These leaves, we're throwing those in. Just starting to blister and bubble in a few places. The chrome you can see has been painted. I don't dislike that at all. So this is by no means a show condition car. What it is beautifully patinated. It sits so well that you've got these keystone alloys which make it, whoever has stamped this car in terms of ride height, wheel choice, tyre choice, just gets full marks. They've absolutely nailed it. It sits so well. So look in here. You're driving a Wurlitzer, basically. It screams mid-50s, doesn't it? And if you look, everywhere you look, see just little bits, but nothing to stop you enjoying the car. You could just get that gearbox sorted, cruise this around. If you look here, look, see, it's just starting to go on the bonnet. You can either leave that if that's the look you're going for, or it wouldn't be huge amounts. You could just run around. It's like the fourth bridge running an old 50 Jag. Just put a panel in. By the time you get to the other end, got to another one. What a cool car, and no reserve. So you get to set the price. You get to tell us how much you think that's worth. Is it worth? What a cool thing. To me, it's the right height wheels and tyres just make that car. In fact, it's a coupe. In fact, it's a wraparound 57. Beyond cool. Talking of which, now we've all had T25 camper vans, haven't we? We've all had the wagon, what's it? The Waganon, whatever it is, Vanagon, that's it. The T25 anyway. This is the big brother of the T25. And again, if you look inside, although they look visually very similar, this is much, much bigger. You get a lot more room in this. Let me open this up. So if you're looking for a blank canvas for your camper van conversion, dare I suggest you'd have a lot more comfort and room in here than you would with a 25 or a bay window or a split. I'll leave that open. So this is done, let's have a look, 28,000 miles. Can you guess what it used to be in the previous life? Yes, it was actually an operational fire engine in South Germany. So it hasn't been used, it's obviously sat in a very nice building, being polished and learnt, but not driven or left outside very often. So it's got the 2.4 six-cylinder petrol engine, perfect for camper van, 6 stamps in the history book. All of these work, of course, they'll be changed to orange, so you don't get done being a fire engine. It's got the original fireman's ladder, Jag, and an outdoor car cover. I just think that's very cool. I love your Volkswagen shows with this. Just look again, look at the state. What would you do with that? Kitchen, bedroom? It's much, much bigger than a standard van. But at 8 to 10 grand, even if you just want to get a cool van to use for your business, that's a very usable thing. You couldn't buy a transit van in this condition for 8 to 10 grand. I don't think you could. So I think that's very cool, very unusual, and no one else has got them. This is what you want. Right, Jags. We love Jags. We always have them in the sale. 1988 Jaguar Xk8412a convertible with only 50,000 miles. This is the ultimate cab and bounder car. It's got an Audi wheel as well, which is particularly nice. Air conditioning electric hood. It's got the hood cover. It's got an aftermarket Kenwood radio. Glacier white with contrasting brown leather. I think that's a very nice combination. Just had a power steering overhaul. Just had the ABS hydraulic system flushed and refilled. In 2018, before the pandemic, somebody went and spent €3,000 on this car, just to make sure it's perfect. The bodywork is exceptionally nice. It's had paint on this door around the state, which you have to squint to really see, but it's absolutely lovely. I do like as well brown roof on a white car with brown leather. Exceptionally cool colour combination now. Not going to be an expensive car once again. 14,000 to 16,000 pounds could have you cruising around like you'd won the pools in 1998. Imagine cruising this down the French Riviera next summer. I think you would look like the Lord and Lady Mountain. I think XCSs are just almost too cheap. The market hasn't really woken up to these cars yet. Maybe it never will. But in the meantime, you get to buy them for less money than really they should be. 14 to 16 grand gets you a car that is really exceptionally clean, very well presented, and wants not a lot really. I would say, looking around the car, I can't really fault it. Yeah, even the seat swaps are gorgeous. Just, yeah, buy it, enjoy it, that one. On to the M5. Is this the greatest smooth car ever made? I think it could be. This is the car that the auto industry has always benchmarked every medium sector saloon against, and there's a very good reason for that, because as a driver's car, it is untouchable. This is the 2000 model, 92,000 miles, it's a manual, just fabulous specs. Got Michelin's on. You can always tell a previous owner how they look at the car by what tyres they choose. If you see a performance car that's 20 odd years old with Michelin's on, Pirellis or something expensive, it needs a cash for that. Normally you can see that through the car. Just great colour, sunroof, direct wheels, really unmessed about with. Again, future investment car, something you could use every day, have a lot of fun with. 92,000 miles is low enough to be, I think, a really classic car, but high enough to be in the usable category. 20 to 25,000 pounds. Can have a bid on that if you want to go fast with all of your family with you. This is a cool thing. We love a Ford, we love a rare Ford. The 2.9 gear, 4.4 estate, is 47,000 miles on the clock. Now, you can buy this for lots of reasons. The epitome of a practical classic. It could be that your dad had one or your granddad had one back in the time. just fabulous. And of course, there's none left. Nobody bothered to save any of these. They weren't quite high enough up the fast forward food chain to be looked after or saved in the same way that, say, Cosworths were or RSs were. It's got the owner's handbook, the original interior, 3 sets of keys with the car. You will not find, I would imagine, for sale at this point in time, many gear 4x4s. They were rare when they were new because they were very, very expensive, which means there was none left, loads have rotted away. This really isn't one at all. It's a lovely car. Got MOT history back to 2008. Why I'm particularly excited about this car, other than the rarity, is it's no reserve. You get set price once again. What's lovely about this next sale, I think, because of what's going on in the world, I think a lot of vendors are being incredibly realistic with either the reserves that they set or they just put the cars in with no reserve, which means they will sell. So don't be dissuaded from having fun with a classic car just because the world's in a crazy place at the moment. You will only pay what the car is worth. That's the beauty of the auction format. So you can always come out with them at a later date. And when life is for living and we're here to enjoy ourselves, the right classic car will give you that ting factor and that bit of fun that you need. Now we know how much I like an XJ I bought in the last sale. This is a 2001 3.2 executive, so it's the V8. So if you like a V8 Jaguar, who doesn't? Here's one for you. 15 inches in the service book, particularly nice order this one. Lovely colour, lovely interior condition. It's got 3.2 engine, 3 former keepers, 15 stamps in the book, and MOT's going back to 2004. I just love this XJ Jag. This X300 or X308, as it's called, I think is a great spec. They drive really well by modern standards. There's a reasonable amount of room because this model got effectively the old XJ40 long wheelbase back doors, so you get a bit more room in it. I'm using mine, the one I bought at the last sale. I'm getting 31 mpg on a motorway run, I'm getting 27 around town. You could use that car every day and you'd look cool doing it. I love that. No reserve, you set the price. Okay, back to the old life. The Saab 93 Aero. These are a great car. Again, all the things you read about, General Motors, you know, it's just a Vectra underneath. The Vectra's not a bad car anyway, and also Saab massively redesigned most of the stuff that went into this car. They used some of the GM underpinnings, but the whole body optimization, everything was done by Saab. These are a very good car, and again, they're not a lot of money. This one is an Aero Anniversary 2 Tt, so they are quick, 111,000 miles. It's a manual car, 4 former keepers, new rear disc pads, new clutch kit fitted in 2015. Brand new set of Toyos last year, flew through the MOT with no advisories. I think it's had an enthusiast owner. I'm seeing things like Saab seatbelt covers. I think somebody has loved this car. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It is very presentable, very quick. You have a lot of fun with it. And again, buying a convertible in the autumn is very smart. You won't pay too much for it. I think peel the stickers off. It's got a few tuning stickers on it. Give it a mop up. That'd be a lovely car. And once again, a no reserve car. So many cars in this auction are no reserve. So make sure you're registered to bid or be here on the day. Because if there's a bargain going, you'll be at this auction. Another no reserve gem. Now, we spoke about this last time. This is a great little car. This is an incredibly rare car. This one, 1981 Honda Prelude 1.628 automatic. We think there's only 4 of these left in the UK. If you want to turn up at a Japanese or classic car show with a car that nobody else has got, get everybody's undying admiration. This is the car to do it with. Its original specification. Again, this flew through its previous MOT with no advisories. It does need a little bit of bodywork. Everywhere you look, there's a bit of a crack, you know, a little rust bubble coming through. You will have to at some point paint this car. Let's be honest about it. But in the meantime, you've got 12 months of MOT to enjoy and cruise it around. It's a Honda. It starts and works beautifully. It's just impeccably cool. So treat it as something to have a little bit of fun with, to drive and enjoy, and just refine and improve as you go. And once again, no reserve. So what could you buy that for? 200, 2.5? Who knows? That's the beauty of the auction. You only pay what it's worth. Moving on, a familiar sight for you, dear viewer. In 1993, Volkswagen Golf Gti Sportline Cab. Now this is actually, believe it or not, an incredibly rare car. But 3 of what's left in the UK all happen to be put into the one sale by the one owner at the same time. So if you want one, what's nice is you can come and view and see. I think 3 of the best cars on sale in the UK at the moment. So we've got 150,000 miles on this one. She's a manual, one of only 449 ever made. 19 stamps on the book, 19 previous MOTs. I think this is potentially, of all of the 3 in here, if you're the stickler for originality and for perfection, this is the one you want. This is the car that is as close to showroom spec with mega history. I think this could be the one that makes perhaps the best money of the three, because it's the purest choice. They're all gorgeous, whether you want slightly modified, completely standard. Come and get one. We've got one for you. Right. Another desirable, rare, hard to find in an unmolested condition 1980s convertible. The BMW 320i. If you were a successful, young, upwardly mobile professional person in the 1980s, if you couldn't quite afford a 911, this is what you would have gone for. Look at this we've got here as well. That's rare. Hard top. Very rare with a hard top. So we've got great service history, 27 stamps, Pirelli tyres, we've got original spec. Drives and presents very well. It's got the leather interior to the auto. It's a left-hand drive, please note guys as well. It is a left-hand drive. I'm not sure which country it's come from. It's got a good history this. It's exceptionally nice on the body. And the big thing for this for me is the hard top. You never see them with a hard top. They are worth an enormous amount of money on their own. You've got the folding roof underneath, you've got the hard top on top, heated back window. Just a beautiful, beautifully preserved in an 80s colour 320 auto cab. 8 to 12 grand that will go for. I think it's worth every single penny. Great car for someone. If you've got a holiday home in Spain and you want to cruise around and something a bit more interesting and different, that's your car. That's your car. Now, you shouldn't have a favourite child and you shouldn't have a favourite auction lot, but I think this might be my favourite auction lot ever. Because this is, I put this on Twitter and my Twitter melted basically. 1992 Honda Aero 2.2i. This is the one your mum warned you about basically. This is as close to going into a Honda dealership in period and ordering a brand new car will get you. Perfect colour, perfect interior, it's a very high spec, you've got aircon, cruise and roof. It's only done 44,000 miles. It was a rare car when they were new, you didn't see that many when they were new. There are now 6 left, 6 of these on the road. This is one of them, I would wager this is the nicest one. Again, I hate to keep going on about Haggerty Festival in Exceptional. I think this is potentially Concours winning car. You could take this in, you would certainly stop the show. If you pulled in the gates in this, you would stop the show. And come and have a look at this. I ain't going to bid on this car, it's too good. Look. Immaculate velour. You know when you've got a car, you've still got the grain on the plastic steering wheel because the mileage is so low. They haven't, because normally that gets worn smooth. You've still got all the grain on the wheel. No discernible wear on the seat squab. Rear seats are immaculate. So what have you got? 12 entries in the service book. You've got original dealer plates. Fabulous colour. It's a 2.2 Honda. It will go on forever. You'll probably do 250,000 miles. It will start every morning. You can either tuck this away in a collection, or like I said, bin your 300 quid, 350 quid, 400 quid a month for these cars. Bin that off. Drive this. And win at life. That is an eminently practical everyday car. Incredibly practical everyday car. Look at the size of it, look, it's huge. Look at it. Massive. Look at the boot, I'll show you the boot. I do think this is, for me, yeah, never mind the Xk120. This is the car of the cell for me. Look at that. Enormous boot, that seat folds down completely flat, of course. These pull across. You've got your little things there, you've got your luggage tonneau. Isn't that fabulous? And of course, everything works because it's Japanese. Right, you boy racers out there, you fellow boy racers, let's say. 1988 Ford Escort RS Turbo. Don't need to tell you, back in the day, late 80s, this was king of the hill. Never mind your Golf GTI, that was a mere injection. This makes was turbocharged, isn't it? 6-plate wheels, correct bonnet, proper thing. This was king of the hill. 12,000 miles. Photographs of previous rebuild, minimal emission, fully restored this one. Complete service packed for new. It's just ready to show. It's a show quality car, that one. If you want a really nice one, it's had paint, obviously it's been fully restored, this car. Have a look inside. That will take you back. But it has been restored to completely standard specification. Now have a think. 70s Fords, we just sold a very beautiful Mexico out of the sale. Everybody wanted to buy it so much, we've got full top estimate for it. 70s Mexicos, Mark 1s, Mark 2s, they're 40, 50 grand. This is estimated at 14 to 16. But for how long? Because don't forget that ownership profile moves down as people get older and cars get older. These will be the next big Ford. The RS Turbo will be, as customers of a certain age reach that age, they will want to buy one. There's only a certain amount of cars left for sale, and this one I would think is one of the best. So 14 to 16 will feel very cheap in the very near future. MG TF1.5, sorry. So I think the MG, again, very underrated for a sports car. These, a lot of fun, only done 29,000 miles. It's had the head gasket and water pipe conversion. If you know anything about the K series on these, they can be troublesome if they're not looked after properly. And the two things you have to do to get them right is the upgraded head gasket, and there's a water pipe conversion that can really stop a huge amount of problems. They're the two things that all MGFs and MGTFs do need to make them a nice car. This one's had them both. It's also had a cam belt which was done in 2017, it's not done many miles since. Fully operational hood, really nice little car. Dead level, a lot of fun, super usable. And again, wonderful spares backup on these. No reserve. Just tell us what you think it's worth. That'd be ace, that would go. Can't fancy that myself. This, you've got to come see this from the front. Well, actually, look through this beautiful stuff. Imagine this parked in the paddock at Goodwood Revival. I could see that. I think they'd probably ask you to be part of the paddock at Goodwood Revival. That's your invite sorted for next year. So 1954 Trojan recovery truck with a Perkins diesel engine. Come and have a look at the front. Isn't it fabulous? Look. The condition of the bodywork on this is something else. The paintwork is incredible. Really beautifully presented truck. Obviously it's a little bit niche. You probably wouldn't want to be doing massive amounts of mileage in it because it's quite an upright driving position in the cab. But this is wonderful because this was obviously in period, in the mid-50s. This was fetching people out of ditches and turn them back to the garage. So if you've got either a wonderful car collection or you want to be that bit of paddock set dressing at every revival type event, this is what you want. I don't think I've seen one in quite such beautiful condition. Bodywork is flawless. This all works at the back as well. If you want to actually tow your mate's 50s race car on the dolly at the back, you can. It all works. Perfect for some kind of period race team. If you're doing any kind of period club motorsport, you've got to have that in your collection. And it's only going to be £9,000 to £11,000. That's going to be an awful lot of fun if you want to do that. Is this the greatest sports car of all time? I think it's hard to argue that it's not. These are great. If you've not driven these, the NB Mazda, a really nice upgrade from the Mark 1. A little bit more room on these. Handling's even better. 2003 Mx5 Montana, this one. What can I tell you? Factory hardtop makes it very usable and also a little bit more aerodynamic. So you can back window, your luggage rack on this one as well. Great service history. Really nice leather interior on this with a wood rim wheel as well. Which has only done 97,000 miles. First registered in Maidstone, Kent. They didn't make many of these, they made 250 in this colour. Original book pack. Just a lot of fun. Just, if you haven't driven an MX5 yet, forget all the hairdressers jokes. They're by people that haven't driven one. The best gear change in manual car at any price range. One of the best handling cars, one of the most fun cars to explore, a Dijon on the limit. And just cool. And also the MX5 Owners Club. Particularly nice bunch of people, I have to say. Well worth joining. That again is no reserve. So many cars in this auction are no reserve. So make sure you've registered to buy. If you can be here online, come and see us. We've got one more car. Come have a look at this one, it's just in. And that brings us to this final car, which is in the document room already. 1958 Magnet ZB. What a cool looking thing. They're quite rare now, you don't see many of them. This is particularly lovely. It's just had a recent refresh, so it's in a lovely order. 15,000 miles shown, which I guess is a good speedo change, or she's gone round. Chrome is very nice, bodywork is very nice, interior is exceptionally nice. So have a look out. So the leather's beautiful. Remove that bag. The wood is also in very good order in this. It's one of those cars you're not going to have to do a lot with. Someone spent a lot of money in 2020, so they had clutch slave cylinder, brake overhaul, new door skins, depots and door repairs. They spent £5 grand on it less. Loads of invoices, loads of MOTs, and if you look in the back, you've got your Goodwood Revival sticker. So I would imagine, and what you should do with it too, is when you go to Goodwood Revival, they let you park in a special pre-64 parking area, so you park right next to the event. Not with all the plebeians and commoners, but all the other lovely period cars, so you can literally walk in 2 minutes. So we'll also grant you access to park in the much cooler areas at all the car shows. So that is our walk around. We may get a few last minute entries, so do keep watching us on social media to make sure you've grabbed all the last minute consignments. Do like and subscribe to all of our channels, and of course do register to bid if you want to come bid either online or in person here on the 22nd of October. And either way, whether you're virtual or physical here in the room, I'll see you there.